Hey, so earlier today I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw that um, Quentin Tarantino had made some comments about the way movies are distributed these days. That we're not um, really doing the movies justice. He'd be like, the movie gets its token, month in the theater, and then it gets shoved onto streaming. And kind of a flash in the pan as far as the theater release is concerned. And I'm not a Tarantino fanboy. There's a couple movies of his that I like. Sometimes he says things I agree with. Sometimes he says things I don't agree with, and yeah. So, but but this comment kind of struck a chord with me because I'm old school like he is. I'm not quite as old as he is, but in internet years, I am ancient. You know, um, grew up in the 80s and 90s when movies actually had their day in the theater. They had their regular run, and it's interesting because if you look at the whole history of movies, and like the first 70 years of movies, the only way to see a movie in the theater was, the only way to see a movie was in the theater, right? And I remember even in my day, back in my day, Shunny, the only the only way to, yeah, let me, I can slip in an old man mode there. All right, Shunny, let me tell you, back in my day, if you wanted to see a movie, you had to go to the movie theater. And that was it. You missed it at the theater, you ain't seen it. Not until it comes on the TV. But, and that's the way it was, like I said, for like the first several decades. At this point, actually, at this point, that's kind of sort of half of its existence. Like, well, not quite. But, and it made sense back in those days to actually re-release movies in the theater because, people weren't buying it on video because there wasn't home that didn't exist. And so if you had a movie that was popular, and popular movies could run for a long time, months and sometimes up to a year, if a movie was a big hit. I think The Sound of Music played for a year. Star Wars played for a year in some places. And that was back, in the 60s and 70s. Even before that, you'd have, these movies where, I don't actually know. I wasn't alive back then, but anyway, then you had the advent of home video, and the age I grew up in with VHS. Back in those days, you'd have the movie would be released, and it would be advertised as, come see this brand new theater. Come see this brand new movie now only in theaters. And as a kid, I'd always be like, when I'd hear the only in theaters part, I'd be like, well, where else? Of course, it's only in theaters. There's no other place to see a new movie. Then it would have its day in the theater. It would have its run, and then there would be a time gap between the end of its run in the theater and its release on home video. When it would be released on VHS for people to buy if they could afford it, or to go to the movie rental place and rent. Get a 2-day rental for $1 or something like that. And those movie places were awesome. I loved going there. We did not have a Blockbuster in my area. We had some other places, Um, but to go in there and be in a room filled with movies, surrounded by movies, like real, physical, you can touch them type movies, and to just go around and browse and pick it off the shelf, look at the cover art, look at the back description with a couple of pictures on there, and be like, that looks cool, yeah. And then you put it back in the next one, and you do that for like an hour. It was a great experience. It's way better than scrolling, the menu on your streaming service. Just staying in your home, sitting in your usual chair, in your underwear, well, yeah, in your stained shirt, just scrolling and being like, oh, they have that one. Okay, they have that one. Or, oh, that one, I think I want to see at some point. But oh, they have that one. Really, that one I've been meaning to see for a while. What else would they got? It's not at all the same experience as browsing the actual video store. Um, what's next? What was I saying? So that was, that was how movies were back when I was growing up. And just this past December, just like 1 month ago, like literally just a month ago, today is January the, let's see, 27th of 2025. And 29, yeah. So last month, Nosferatu came out, the Robert Eggers version of Nosferatu, a movie I've not had the opportunity to see yet, even though it was my most anticipated film of the year, since Eggers is my favorite contemporary filmmaker. Even though he's only made, well, he's made 4 movies. I've seen 3 of them. The Witch is great. Northman is great. Lighthouse isn't a movie I particularly enjoy, but I appreciate the artistry of it. Yeah. Anyway, so that movie was, there seemed to be a fair amount of anticipation for it. There was a good lead up to it. And then it came out, and like a day or two after it came out, I saw advertising for the home physical media releases. And, this is what the Blu-ray case is going to look like. This is what the Ultra 4K case is going to look like. And I'm just like, it just came out in theaters. Why are you advertising the home release already? And then like a week later, they're talking about, oh yeah, it's going to be available on streaming and VOD, at this point. And I'm just, again, like, it just came out. What are you doing? Why? It just came out in the theaters. Why are you telling people about when it's not going to be in theaters? Or don't you want people to come to the theater? What's going on here? It doesn't, it's like movies have gone from being this great event thing, where there's a build up, and then it has its organic, it's time to organically build and get its audience and get all its profits over several weeks, several months. And now it's being treated like a freaking one-night stand. It's like in a bad area of town. It's just like, okay, let's throw it in the theater real quick, and after the only opening weekend counts, and for get that quickie in, and then let's go to what we really care about, the home the home streaming and the home physical media stuff I can get behind. Certainly, physical media is something that is very important, and I certainly would encourage everyone to buy all the physical media that they can afford, because if you love something, of course you want to own it. I mean, you want it to make it your own, to have in your place that you can handle. But actually, I may make a whole other video about that. But anyway, So that's a good thing in of itself, but to be mixing that up so, overlapping that so much with a theater release is bizarre to me, at least to me, who grew up in the age where these things were separated out. And you had the special theater experience, and you had the special release of the home video version, and you even had anticipating the the television premiere, the first time on television, and then you'd have your blank VHS your blank VHS tape ready to record the movie. Sure, it was probably edited for time and content, but still, you had the movie for free, or the cost of the blank VHS. And all those stages of being able to focus on each thing and being looking forward to it each time, it's being obliterated. Everything's being meshed together, and everything's being put in this, being put through the same pipe to the same place. It's all coming through the internet. You got everything on the same screen. You got your home entertainment on the same screen as your fake social stuff, and as you have your where you shop. It's all just blended together. Nothing special anymore. It's separated out and sacred. And the real, the more personal experiences, experiencing that personal experience of going to the theater, and mixing with all these other people who are there to see the same thing, or to see something else too, or going to the mall and mixing with those people, and instead of just sitting in front of the screen. I'm not a social person, I'm not trying to advertise some kind of big social thing, but just saying there's something more special and more enjoyable about those more organic experiences than just sitting on your ass in the same seat that you have at home and just scrolling through your streaming stuff, or your stupid TikTok or whatever. Now, of course, if you have your physical media, a shelf or shelves full of physical media, then you can go browse that and pick it off, and it's more interactive. This is yours, and you have it, and this ain't gonna change. As long as you take good care of it, this is gonna last, and you don't depend on a service for this thing that you like, right? Anyway, and so in the Twitter, of course, I saw what Tarantino said, and then I looked at the comments. Some people were saying that that if Hollywood made good movies, then people would come see them, and that wasn't what Tarantino was talking about. He was talking more about the way the industry has kind of reorganized itself, and not about whether people want to come see it. But it is true, if you make a movie that people want to come see, then they'll come see it, and it'll be profitable. But again, the entertainment industry has organized itself in a strange way, trying to figure out how to balance traditional movie releases with all this newfangled internet home stuff, and also still have the physical media in there, which physical media seems to have a little bit of an increasing support now. That's good. But we do have an entire generation now that grew up with the internet, and their view on things is different. Very different, and I don't pretend to I'm not even going to go there, comment on that. except I will say this, that while there were people in the comments saying make good movies, we'll come see them, then there were people in the comments who were basically saying, oh, cry me a river, Tarantino, times change. You know, and basically they don't care. They don't care about the movie, the theater experience, because it was never a part of their life. It was never something they fell in love with. If they've ever fallen in love with anything, I suspect that they don't like Tarantino's passion because they don't have any passions of their own. But they're good with the way things are now. You know, I have a great home theater. I got this huge ass screen, and I got all my speakers nicely arranged, and I can stream whatever, you know, or put it in my Ultra 4K thing, and it's all good. You know, get with the times. And I mean, it's cool if you have a nice home theater, but I think we're missing a bit of the magic with the decline of movies. But then again, movies have had a century of, you know, we've had a good run. It's been a full century of movies. And maybe, you know, sometimes I have to pull myself back and be like, you know what, just because things are changing doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Just because, you know, we always think it's better in our day. And sometimes we're right. But I do wonder, is it time to let it go? Is it time for the way movies have been, and for the way Hollywood has been, to let it go? Is it? Of course, Hollywood is different now. Hollywood has, you know, for the past 15 years or so, it really hasn't been an entertainment business. It hasn't been a business because they clearly don't care about money. A lot of them. It's been a social engineering, social programming or deprogramming machine. And then, you know, so every once in a while there's a movie where people are like, hey, this doesn't feel like pure propaganda, let's support it. But yeah, is Hollywood over? Is movies as we know it over? Is it time to just let that go and to simply maybe embrace the past as the future? Not the going to the movie theater past, but the movies themselves, because there's you know, in this century of films, there's a lot of good stuff in there. It's always going to be a mixed bag, but the sun, okay. But there's a lot of great movies out there to be discovered and to be rediscovered, rewatched, and it is time to just do that, to watch all the good stuff that's already been made, to go old school. And because you can buy them, you know, on physical media. Some of them you can stream online. It's better to buy them on physical media, though, if you can afford that. And you know, streaming, you know, watching movies online to me is a good way to basically find out if you like a movie or not first before you buy it. Okay, I haven't seen this before. I'm curious about it. Let me watch it for free on the internet, and then, or for no extra charge, whatever your service is. And if I like it, then I'll buy it on physical media. If I don't, then don't bother, right? That's, yeah, a good way of using that. But anyway, maybe we're at kind of a turning point. where the movie experience and the movie industry that I used to love, it's time to say goodbye to it. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe the younger people are, have a point now and there. Um, so anyway, um, just rambling on here as usual. Uh, anyway, one movie I don't know, whatever. I'm just gonna shut up. Thanks for listening. Bye.